So you're looking for a solo build for Engineer? Don't look any further, this is the build for you. Sadly, Engineer is not the best solo build, but it's still really good and it's still really fun. And it's especially fun because it uses the new spear weapon. I'm Surma, and without much further ado, let's jump right in. This build is heavily inspired by Lord Heisen's build, so credits to him. So let's start with the gear. So you're playing Spear and you want to go with full Celestial gear, every single piece. If you want to go for infusions, you should go for condition damage infusions. And as a rune, you want to go with Rune of the Trapper, just for even more condition damage. And for your spear, you want to go with Sigil of Strength and Sigil of Celerity. Sigil of Strength provides you with a lot of might application, and the Sigil of Celerity provides you with a lot of quickness access, because you have quite a lot of CCs, and all of them will proc this quickness. It even works against Defiant foes, so you just can spam them against most enemies. And be aware it has a 20-second cooldown, yes, but you can permanently proc it therefore, and you get almost 8 seconds of quickness just by using the sigil. It's really good. If you need more condition cleanse, you can of course go for Signet of Cleansing, Sigil of Cleansing, because over the Sigil of Celerity, because you don't have that much cleanses. For your relic, you can run any relic, I would say. There is no particularly broken one on this build. Relic of the Fractal is the most damaging one. I would go for that most of the time. You can of course also go for Relic of Rivers. It's always really strong on a solo build, but it's not necessary because you have enough defense, I would say, most of the time. So for food and utility consumables, I would go for peppered cured meat flatbread, just to decrease your incoming damage and get some nice buff to your damage, to condition damage in particular, and use tuning icicles. That's the best setup. Before I continue, I would like to tell you that only a small percentage of you are subscribed. So if you enjoy this video and want to help me and my channel, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. If you want to support me even more, check out my YouTube or Patreon memberships and receive some fancy special benefits. Now back to the video. So let's start with the traits. You take Explosive, Firearms and Holosmith. Explosive is really straightforward, you get some nice vulnerability application and you easily cap at 25. You get some more damage even with vulnerability, and you get some nice fury permanently with this trait. You get some nice damage buff with the aim assisted rocket, and you get a damage buff by Big Boomer, which also rocks on explosions. But, and that's also the most important part, the Big Boomer gives you some healing over time, and it's actually not, it's really good. It's 300 heal per second. It's a really, really good heal, and you can keep that permanently up. So that's really good. And then you have Firearms, gives you some bleeding on crits, the chance, and it gives you some nice crit chance buff, because you have the foes always bleeding, and then you get some nice bleeding duration increase. You get some pistol skill increase, that doesn't matter because you don't play with pistol, but you get some condition damage baseline, so that's good. You get some might application, that's also good, just for keeping up 25 might. And then you get some nice increase to your burning duration, but also your crits inflict bleeding every 10, burning every 10 seconds. It's also really strong. So you have a lot of conditions in this trade line. And then in Holosmith, you get access to your Photon Forge with a lot of nice skills like CC, mobility, range. It's really good. Then, if you face a lot of condition pressure, you would go with Prismatic Converter, just because every time you swap out of the Photon Forge, you will cleanse, or not cleanse, convert one condition or even two conditions if you're over 50% heat into boons. That's really strong. But if you know this boss or the fight doesn't bring any conditions on you, then you go for the more damaging option, which would be the Solar Focusing Lens. But I would say most of the time you face at least some condition pressure, and I would go with this. It's just the superior option. Then you get some nice healing over time, and you get more damage. That's really good. And then we have a really nice trait that gives you barrier for each target stuck, but it also gives you just baseline barrier, and it's actually quite a lot of barrier. That's the 3 skill in your Photon Forge, so it's really nice. You should always use it when you go in, and it's off cooldown. And then lastly, you now don't get punished that much if you overheat it. It's actually not that much of an issue anymore. And it also deals a lot of damage if you overheat. So that's why this is really good. You should be aware that this is now makes this build somewhat easy to play because you don't care about the heat. If you just overheat, that's a damage increase. So you should always try to go for your damaging skills and stuff. And if you need cleansing, you swap out of it. But most of the time you just want to overheat and deal the damage, and then you swap back in after 10 seconds or something when it's back. So that's it for the traits. Now to the utility skills and skill setup. So you want to use healing turret because it's some nice AoE healing, blast finisher, regen, also some condition cleanse. It's one of the only conditions cleanses you have. Then you have flamethrower. They buffed it recently. Now this is stun break. You have some nice burning application. You have a CC here. You have some blast finisher and a lot of damage. And you have Elixir U. It's stun break, really short cooldown, gives you stability, gives you quickness. It's really overloaded. In conjunction with the Celerity Sigil, you have almost 100% quickness uptime. And then you have Hardlight Arena. It's a really nice skill. If you use it over 50% heat, you can have it for 12 seconds. It's really strong and gives you a lot of nice boons if you stand in it. And then you have a nice CC with your Holo Elite and some nice damage as well. So you should always be aware that this is also unblockable. So a really powerful elite. And then we have some 2-bad skills. It's a water field, so if you blast or jump through it with a leap finisher, it gives you some healing. It's also some heavy regen, really good. Then some instant cast burning application on the next 3 attacks, really good. Some super speed axes can be useful. And then you have some nice CC as well, some pull. Your spear skills, the 1 just deals damage. It's a melee attack. The 2 is a leap finisher and deals damage, really good. And it also focuses the target, so it will improve the other skills. Then you have your, say, skill that rotates around you. It's also really strong, gives some nice damage. So all of those skills you should just use off cooldown. The 4th skill gives you a CC. Be aware that you shouldn't use that off cooldown if you know your Celerity Sigil just procced. But if you need the CC, of course, use it. And then you have a nice blast finisher and some nice damage on this skill as well. So that's it for the skills. You can see in the background, it's a really fun build. It's really interactive. You have a lot of skills. You have a lot of jumps. It's really fun to play. Like I said before, it's not particularly broken. It's just a really easy to play, fun to play solo build. It's not the best one, but it's the best for engineer for sure. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.